Good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. I'm your host, Chris Edwards. I'm here with my co-host, Gwendolyn Houston Jack. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm well. I can't complain. As you can see, we're missing someone. I think our fearless leader is missing in action today. Ron Lewis is at the dentist getting his teeth cleaning. I think he mentioned it yesterday. So that's why we're filling in today. And as they would say, the crazies are running the asylum.
Yes. Sometimes
Oh my!
it's like, is she okay? I'm all right.
We're both okay. We're both okay. So good morning to everyone. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, and it is Water Cooler Wednesdays. So we tend to talk a little politics, some current events. We've got a little rundown of some things we want to talk about today, and I've got some actual graphics and some video, just like Ron does. So we're going to keep it going like we normally do on a Wednesday. I know you're not used to seeing me every once in a while. You see me on a Wednesday, but this is a little bit off. But before we get the show started, let's say hello to some people in the room. Getting the gold star as always is Hannah. Good morning, Hannah. How are you doing? And Hannah says good morning to everyone. Let me put that on the screen here. She says good morning. Then we've got Kelly in the room. She says good morning, everyone. She's getting the silver for today because she was second in the ring. And then, well, I don't know if we can give it to you, but we'll give it to you anyway. Gwendolyn. She was third in the room, so she pulls up the rear with the bronze.
I'll take it.
Okay. Now, I know that Ron had mentioned, I think, somewhere in the middle of the show, at the end of the show, yesterday, he wasn't sure if he was going to have a show. So we might have, not the huge crowd that we normally have on a Wednesday, but we are here. So if you're out there in YouTube land and you see the notification pop up that we're on live, yes, we are on live. We still got a show going on. And I think we got a good show and a good lineup for today. And of course, we're joined by the beautiful G, for those that know her. Anyway,
so
how are you doing? How are you doing today?
Okay, well, I've been in the dark lately because another season's coming up and I have a lot to record, but there is a grandson that is on the way. Could be end of this month, right? Could be end of this month or early September. So he's going to be a Virgo baby. I'm excited. I mean, I love all my grandbabies, but I would be a liar if I said he's going to be a Virgo and I feel some kind of way.
Okay. A lot going on. I've seen a lot of your posts and you've been recording on the road. Very exciting time of the year because, I know that a new season of Indie Soup Media is going to be launching, I think, sometime in October. So all of us content creators are getting busy. Actually, I'm going to have a little announcement at the end of the show. I'm going to keep it till the end about what's coming down the pike for me a little bit. I'm excited, but I'll keep it till the end. But anyway, so let's jump into some water cooler talk. So first on my list today was Trump's crackdown in DC and what he's got going on there. Now, I have a little a video from NBC and MSNBC that I want to play first, and then we can kind of get into the discussion. So let me just load that up real quick. Ron is doing all the big things. Let's see. We get it. Did I get it right?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. So let me play this.
Overnight, hundreds of National Guard troops deployed across Washington, D.C., surging into the city to complement the D.C. police, now under federal control for 30 days. The Guardsmen taking up positions at some of the capital's most iconic landmarks, including the Washington Monument. But officials say most of them won't be armed or making arrests. It's the most visible sign of President Trump's push to cut crime in the district. The White House touting nearly 24 arrests made by federal personnel Monday night.
The Trump administration will relentlessly pursue and arrest every violent criminal in the district who breaks the law.
D.C.'s Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser, who along with the district's police chief met Tuesday with Attorney General Pam Bondi, said yesterday she will make the most of federal help that she says she's powerless to refuse.
We're going to put those officers to good use.
But later in a town hall, Bowser speaking out against the intervention.
We all need to to do what we can to protect our city and to protect our autonomy and make sure we elect the Democratic House so that we have a backstop to this authoritarian push.
President Trump on Monday arguing his dramatic intervention is needed to combat an unacceptably high homicide rate and out-of-control crime in D.C.
To rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
That apocalyptic vision disputed by D.C. police crime stats that show a falling violent crime rate the last 2 years, and a January report from the U.S. Attorney's Office that violent crime is at a 30-year low in the district. While Democrats are blasting the president's move, calling it a power grab and a distraction.
This is a deeply expensive game that the president is using, where he's using taxpayer dollars, millions of them, to try to put on this demonstration of force that frankly just makes him look weak.
As for the cost of this deployment of the Guard, right now it's unknown and unknowable. Well, the White House has to give up control of the D.C. police in a month's time. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Monday that the Guard deployment could last significantly longer.
So, go ahead, Gwendolyn. I see you want to jump in. And before you get, I'm gonna turn you loose. I want to actually bring in someone who is a resident of the DC area, and I actually want to show a video for a little bit later in the conversation. But let's welcome our resident correspondent, Alieze. How are you doing today? Good morning.
I'm doing well. Okay.
Yeah,
watching and learning and seeing.
Okay. So listen, like I mentioned, Alieze walked the streets after that announcement on Monday. And Alieze, I've got your video queued up. So I want to just kind of get you guys' thoughts a little bit first, and then I'm going to show the clip, and then we can talk about that a little bit more. So Gwendolyn, take it away.
This is clearly test case number 2, because they've done LA. And when you talk about American citizens, we are not aware of how big these cities are. So the fact that you have numbers saying otherwise, and you have people like Ms. Alieze saying otherwise visually, this is just a test case. It's like, let me see what I can do. I'm gonna try this power grab. But I think about the movie The Siege, when even if they're not armed, having all of these National Guard on the street, what is that? It's a police state. It's getting into your head. So there's a mind game there. But it's just, I keep asking myself, what else needs to happen for somebody who ain't got some melanin to get up and say, this is kind of out of control? I think we've lost it. Like, I don't know what else needs to happen, because it only gets worse from here. If it's allowed in DC for 30 days, then it becomes, well, look at Detroit, look at Chicago, look at Houston, look at Dallas. And then the next thing you know, there you go.
Please stay. Go ahead, Alieze.
Yeah, exactly. And, like you said, I made that post the day he made that, but also watching clips from yesterday where they're going up to people sitting on their steps, harassing them and asking, so what are you smoking? I thought I smelled marijuana. It's a cigarette. Yeah. And you saying, tell your boys. No, these are grown men. They're not boys. And that's it. So we have to call it for what it is. It's a distraction, but it's also a test case. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things they talked about is getting together forces so that they, within an hour, they can send people into cities, these military people into cities, right? And so you also have to think about what they're doing. So you're corralling up homeless people. Some of the extremists out there saying, oh, we need to just get rid of some DC neighborhoods. First of all, we don't need to get rid of any DC neighborhoods. They're not what they're saying, of course. But think about what that is. It sounds like colonization, right? Mm-hmm. And we definitely know that it's a page taken straight out of Hitler's book of what to do, right? So you have all of these things to watch at once, and it's so much, as they say, there's still a bombardment of things. So I will go back out to show the impact of having these troops and people on the street, because there will be one, because a part of it is to provoke, right? So they want to provoke people into doing things. So, and someone brought up a great issue. Our children start school in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. They're going to be on the metro. We're going to have to really sit down and talk to our kids, make sure, and talk to the schools and talk to the mayor to make sure that they have their transportation passes right away, because they can't just get on. They could have face the possibility of someone arresting them. 2 of the people arrested last night were for fare evasion. These weren't violent criminals; they were fare evaders, right? So we have to be very vigilant and understand that they're going to go out into these communities and try to provoke people, particularly our Black men, because they're the easier ones to rile up. And so it really is, how do we prepare for this? And there are lots of things that DC already had in place.
Yeah. All right. So I want to touch on something you just brought up about with the schools. Yes, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, in the White House briefing room, a reporter asked Caroline, the press secretary, about a report about them arresting a handicapped student at school. And, it was reported in, I believe, the LA Times. And she said, I have to get back to you because, they're a phony news organization. And then I forget where, I think I was watching it on Lawrence Rodell, one of those. They played the news report that was on the local television station about the arrest. It was a student who they mistook as someone else, arrested a young handicapped student for no reason but the simple fact that he did not look like he was quote unquote American. He was of Spanish descent. I don't know if he was Mexican or not. I don't want to misrepresent him, but still, the fact that they're doing this, and now this is a huge deal. Millions of kids across the country are going to be going back to school. Is this something that parents now are going to have to sit down and have conversations about their kids? And then how do you feel safe? I mean, you send your kids to school every single day to get educated, to learn. And a lot of schools are now going back to COVID days where they're going to give parents the options to have their kids at home and to do remote learning because of the fear of random people off the street, batsmen pulling them off the street. This is ridiculous. Now, going back to DC, the one thing that was—
Can I say something about what you just said? So that's going to be a very important things for parents and the schools in DC to educate our children on, because they're coming after children. They've made that very clear. If you're 14 and older, they're coming for you.
Yep.
So they made that extremely clear. They don't care
because they want
to be careful because school is getting ready to start.
Yep.
Our children, my granddaughter's like, can I go hang out with my friends? I got to make sure I tell her today, if you're and your friends go someplace, I need you all to be on your best behavior because especially if it's inside DC, they can go, fortunately, they can go up to Maryland from my house. But if they're going downtown DC, any place in DC, you're going to have to educate your children to be very careful. They're going to have to monitor how they act on the subway train. They won't be able to be their natural selves because they're going to intentionally harass our children.
Well, not even that, parents are going to have to start having an action plan with their kids. Like they're out. I don't think you can just go out by yourself anymore. You have to go out and at least 1 or 2 people in a group, and then have some type of plan in place that, God forbid, police officer stops you or one of these army guys pull you over for whatever reason, to have a plan where someone can get in touch with an adult to say, all right, this is where we're at. This is what's happening. Do live streams. So people can, so masses of people can see what's going on and why you're being stopped. What's the reason for this? Right. I never thought we would come to a day in this country where all of us have to walk with like passports and birth certificates to say, I belong here. You know what I mean? Even still, you shouldn't have to do that.
Right. Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We were out this weekend just shopping, and there was a family, looked to be of Middle Eastern descent. And so the salesperson said, so where are you from? I would say that this kid was probably 8 or 9 years old. He's like, so where are you from? Because we're in Arlington. And he's like, America. And he's like, I get that, but where are you from? And the kid was so hesitant in how, and I say very specific in how he was answering questions. I was looking like, okay, clearly his mother has had a chat with him because his answers were not the typical, I'm just from so-and-so. It was so specific, and I don't want to say crafted, but I'm going to say crafted. And so I'm talking to my husband. I was like, when did we ever have to have this for our kids? Like,
Yeah,
like at what point are we now at a place that because your child doesn't look exactly American, you are training your kid to say specific things so that it doesn't cause a stir?
Yeah.
It just broke my heart.
And that's what children are going to have to contend with. People have to contend with, right? So you have people coming up to Black people. Oh, where are your people from? Alabama? Where are yours from? It's like, what are you trying to say? It's trying to make people sound like, first of all, your people aren't from here, period. We know that. You're not indigenous to this country. So I think that we do have to have children prepared to answer. They do have to have their IDs. Just for example, the video I posted in my stories about the gentleman sitting on the stairs, the first thing this man walks up and said, "Do you have your ID?" He said, "I live here."
Yeah.
And so you're harassing people sitting on their own steps and asking that stuff. And one of the things that I saw a video, and it's so true, we are going to have to make sure that our tail lights are working.
Yeah.
Because they are already doing random pullovers of people. What business is that of yours? Like, why are you pulling people over? And that they probably won't come into my neighborhood because of where my neighborhood is. But they're going to, if you're driving and you're driving while Black, you better have all of your papers in place. You better have make sure all your lights are working on your car, because they're going to do those kinds of stuff. If you remember, one of the things that a police officer did was to say, "Hey, your tail light's not working." And then because there was video, he broke the light.
Yep.
So they're going to do some stuff. And then the question is for those people who are, because they're housing the National Guardsmen in our armory in DC.
So hold on, let me just interrupt real quick. You said something that kind of sparked something that was said during that press conference on Monday, or if you want to call it that. He said, "Oh, well, you guys can do whatever you want now." Like basically talking to law enforcement, meaning that they can abuse people out on the streets however they see fit. I don't know how he even gets away with saying that on national TV and no one's coming for him. But anyway, one of the other things that was pointed out during this rambling that was Monday was the fact that he's unleashing the National Guard and taking over DC Metro. What wasn't said was that's only good for 30 days. That's all he can legally do for 30 days. And people have to realize that, all right, you know what? These the local government needs to take full advantage of that, because yes, they can be there for 30 days, but they cannot actually physically make any arrests, and they can't do anything that regular law enforcement would do because they do not have any rights to do that. So one of the things I've been hearing, especially like on MSNBC and some of the podcasts I listen to, is that take full advantage of this. Use these military people that have no training for local law enforcement to do the things that law enforcement typically don't want to do, like transporting people here and there, writing reports, that type of stuff. Put them in an office and let them sit there and do paperwork, because taxpayers are paying for it, so let them be used. Because here's the thing, even though he's deployed, I believe it was 900 troops, he can only technically have 200 on the street at a time.
Right.
So what are the rest of the people doing? They're sitting there watching TV, playing games, and doing nothing on taxpayer dime. Put them to work. Go to the local police departments. Make them do the paperwork that cops would normally have to do. Let them earn that money that they're for what they have to do, basically. And he's using this. This is as Gwendolyn said in the beginning, this is the second test case. He did this in LA first. He even said, we want to do it in New York, we want to do it in Baltimore, and we want to do it in Chicago. Now, mind you, these are all in Oakland, yes, and these are all Democratic run, and typically Black mayors are running these areas. And let's be clear, the statistic, and what I've loved about all the reporting on all the news stations, even you got to give Fox credit for this. They reported on how DC has the lowest crime rates in a long time, down 25% in years. They've been fact checking. I mean, what took so long to fact check this man in real time? Some of them were doing it in real time, like as he was rambling, they were putting up the stats on the side. So people are getting to see, like, hey, this is all charades. And this leads me into something else. Before we do that, I want to play the video that Alieze did on Monday, basically walking through your neighborhood, showing people really what DC is all about. So let me just share that.
Just want to take you on a walk through DC, since the current administration is telling you all how dangerous it is to be in DC, which is absurd and a lie. I'm on I Street in DC, downtown DC. That's one of the squares that we have in DC. Because I think it's important that after somebody lies, you should have the truth be told. And as you can see, people are just walking around doing whatever they do. There's no extra police out here making sure everybody's safe right now, because we are safe. DC is safe, just as safe as any other city in this country, in the world, whatever. Where all of the stuff about the Baghdad, I have no idea what that means, but there's no war going on in DC. The only war that's going on in this city is happening at the White House and the Capitol. I don't have anything to fear walking out the streets, and know that these people who are out here enjoying their day and sitting out under umbrellas and eating their lunch, not being harassed by anyone, without any extra security being in place. And you see how beautiful DC is. I'm going to show you in a few minutes. I was trying to do this video as a video and then post it.
All right, so we get the just for those, if you're not following Alieze already, please go and follow her. She is SALIEZE _ on Instagram. Now, Alieze, I know you did this as a live, but it's posted on your page so everyone can go and watch it. And I know you're going to be continuing to update us and post more on it as the 30 days goes along.
Right, because I think it's necessary that we have people, and I appreciated even a lot of even the white community coming out, showing their neighborhoods and them walking at night, because I think it's important that people see what's really happening, because there's so many gullible people out here with the rhetoric. One of the things that wasn't on there, and it happened after I got off live, I was down by the White House, and there were some people down there who had been in the earlier protest, the music festival. Related to this announcement, and so I was talking to some of those people, and some people came out. This white guy who had a hat on. It wasn't the red hat. It was for one of the other conservative talking heads out there. And this woman came out with what appeared to be maybe her daughter, her maybe 20-something-year-old daughter. And the guy decided that he would talk to the black people out there and talk about how they're cleaning up the streets of DC and all of this stuff. And so he ended up talking to this younger black woman and myself. And so clearly he's like, oh, they're out here, they're delusional. They said it's not this bad. I said, no, you're lying. I said, you are a racist liar. And so the black woman had said, now they're going to trust, don't give them any content. I said, so the only content I'm going to give him is to continuously say, you're a racist liar. Because that's what you have to confront them where they are. You're going to stand there and tell someone who's been a resident of DC for 49 years. Look, 49 years. I saw DC in the 80s and 90s. Y'all don't, in the late 70s and 80s. You don't want to talk about DC back then. But you can't tell me how safe or unsafe DC is. Well, a few years ago, I had my car broken. When was that? The first time this man was president? Because you said years. You didn't say it was yesterday.
The thing about that happens anywhere in this great country. Everywhere. I had my car when I was in Philadelphia, outside, right on the edge outside of Philadelphia. I had my car broken into twice. Okay. Right. It happens everywhere.
And there's crime in the in these rural communities. There are all these things that are happening. Address the mass murders that are going on in this country.
Thank you.
People who look like you.
School shootings,
mass murders. You're not doing anything about that, but you want to come in and perform, because this is
exactly performance theater.
Yeah, this is performance theater. That's all it is. And I believe, like I said in the video, you may not see me in a large group protesting, but you will see me showing you what DC really is and what they're attempting to destroy.
And we appreciate you for doing that. I saw it right after. Actually, I don't know if I think I saw it when you were doing it live. I was watching. So I was just like, you know what? This is the type of stuff that we need to see. When he views his lives, people need to just turn their camera and say, all right, what are you talking about? Like, this is what I see every day. I live here. Right. He quote unquote works here, but he does not stay here because he's most of his time he's out on the golf course somewhere or at Club Mar-a-Lago. But anyway, let me just jump into the comments because we are a community of a huge community where we give comments. So I want to see what people are saying in the comment section. Bryson is in the room. Good morning, Bryson. He says, "What's up, Chris? What's up, Gwendolyn? What's up, everybody? Happy Wicked Wednesday, everybody." Jazzy is in the room. She says, "Good morning, beautiful people." Also in the room, we have Lisa. Good morning, Lisa. She says, "Hey guys." Let's see what else we have. Hannah's. We have said good morning to Hannah already. Who else we have? Anthony's in the room. He says good morning. Let's just see what some of the other comments are being said. Let's go to Bryson. He says Taylor Swift is going to be on New Heights podcast with Travis. I can't pronounce that last name. I'm going to
Kelsey.
Is that Kelsey? Oh,
Kelsey.
Sorry. Kelsey. Jason Kelsey. And she announces her new album, The Last Showgirl. All right. Bryson, we have to get you on here. You have to do a spot, an entertainment spot, even if it's just like once a week on a Friday. I know I keep nagging you about it, but I want to see it happen. So let's just make that happen. Let's see what else is on here. Why isn't he showing video of all the crime, and why is the media asking the guards do they see what he's seen? There is. Let me tell you something. He is projecting. This is all a ruse. This is all distraction. And this will actually lead us into our next story. Let me just pull that banner up. This is what we call the Epstein distractions. Okay?
Exactly.
And I want to start off with a little bit from Lawrence O'Dell. You know, he's one of my favorite people. I listen to him every morning. His show airs at nighttime, and I typically listen to him during my daily walk or run in the morning, and as I did this morning, and I pulled this clip from it. So let me just share a little bit of this, and then we'll get into the discussion about this Epstein distraction.
Now has no idea why his former criminal defense lawyer, who he installed as the number 2 at the Justice Department, became the very first deputy attorney general in history to go to a prison to interview a convicted sex trafficker who the president of the United States personally wishes well. Donald Trump has said repeatedly, "I wish her well." When his old friend, the convicted sex trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been brought up to him in interviews, Donald Trump is, of course, in a position to make his own wish come true. Donald Trump could, for example, pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, just completely erase her conviction and release her from prison, or he could just commute her sentence and release her from prison. That might be something that has to wait until Donald Trump's last day in office, because it could really hurt Republicans running for re-election next year who have devoted their political lives to the support of Donald Trump, and it could certainly hurt badly in the next presidential campaign. But if Donald Trump lets Ghislaine Maxwell out of prison on his last day in office in exchange for her publicly insisting that she and Jeffrey Epstein were never really friends with Donald Trump and that Donald Trump knew nothing about anything illegal that they ever did, well, the last day of the presidency would be the time for him to do that.
Okay. So, you know, this is like the huge distraction now. Ghislaine Maxwell met with Trump's former lawyer, who is now in charge of the part of in the Justice Department.
He's the deputy, yeah.
Yeah. Met with her, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we still waiting for the transcripts from that, the real transcripts. But anyway, after that meeting, she was moved from a high maximum facility where convicted criminals, especially sex offenders, are placed. By law, she is not eligible to be put into a low maximum facility, which they call typically Club Fed, which she is actually residing in now. Now, even beyond that, this is not public reporting, but there are speculations, and there are some on like cable news that have been reporting today, I believe, that it's already in the works where she's going to be approved for work release. I don't know if you guys heard that. Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
she's down here in Texas.
This is someone who was convicted of sex crimes, who was kind of like the mastermind of all of this, who was, I believe she was given 25 years for this crime, who is not eligible to be put into any type of Club Fed, and then who is not eligible for work release. How the hell is this happening?
I don't
jump right in.
Sometimes I lose my words because I get so frustrated with the indoctrination in this country, especially with religion, right? Because I have said it 1,000 times. The person people should be watching is Uncle Billy over here, who sits on the first pew in the church every Sunday, right? It's not trans people. It is not people who don't look like you. It's this guy. And I just find it so upsetting that there is more attention put on ruining and dismantling same-sex marriage, but you want to protect every pedophile known to man. Just this past Saturday, talking to a friend, and there was another gentleman who is in the church and for like 20-something years abused parishioners, right? And so I just typed in pastor fell from grace, and there were another 8 instances nationwide of predators who are Christian. And when I look at what the Republicans do, I'm just like, you guys are some sick people, right? So you have a president who is a convicted felon who is guilty of sexual assault
34 times over. 34
and
times
moving
over.
this chick down here to Texas, where she's probably like, doing classes with Holmes, plotting their next whatever. And I'm just like, how did we get to a place of we are so concerned with protecting predators, but everything else is like the worst thing?
That is the Republican Party right now.
Right. When you're part of a party that's full of them, full of predators. They're full of predators. I mean, there was some state representative, Republican representative yesterday that had over 200 images of toddlers and young children in sexual acts on his computer. So he resigned his spot down there. It's either South or North Carolina. You have this woman was convicted of child trafficking. Yes. The trafficking of young girls. And you also have these legislators who are now trying to make 14-year-olds classified as adults or mature, so they can start marrying these children off. They tried that in Kentucky for 13-year-olds a few years ago. They got so much backlash they took it down. But this is what the guy in Utah have been trying to do. Utah is Utah and several other places. Utah is where the Republican senator changed the law.
Yes.
His 18-year-old nephew could be not classified as an adult because after he raped, well, I know y'all supposed to say other words, after he sexually assaulted, rape, whatever it is, call it what it is, a 13-year-old child. Mm-hmm. He changed the law so he wouldn't be charged as an adult. So you're changing laws for these sexual predators in this country. You have a cabinet full of abusers and sexual predators. And you are worried about making sure these files don't come out to show whether or not you were a part of that process. Yes. And it really
which we know he was.
The Epstein files. It's a distraction from the bad job reports. All of this is that distraction.
Yes.
All of this is part of the distraction in addition to a test case, right?
Hold on. Before we go any further, let me put this on screen. Lisa, thank you very much for this reminder. The Simpsons let us down yesterday. If you know, you know. And we're going to leave it at that.
I told Ron, there's still time, but the time expired.
Listen, we were sitting here yesterday like, we got a few more hours to go. Come on, news. Give me some good news. But
Nothing.
it was not to be.
No.
But anyway.
But you know,
Yeah,
I think we have to be, you do have to educate the people, and Jazzy put it in there that all what happened to Epstein when he was arrested and when he died was under him. He was the president at the time. Biden was not in there. They tried so many of them where the man was on there trying to swear it was Biden, and it wasn't Biden. The man died in 2019 while Trump was there. He was arrested. He did all these things, and somehow they lost all the videos of where he was at the time, conveniently, so that so that they can say, oh, he unalived himself.
He did not. And I mean, here's the thing: like you said, it happened under his first presidency. Right. There is footage that is missing from the release video. Like that right there is just a key sign. Where's that? Was it like a minute or so footage that's missing? Right. Where's that? They know all this stuff. It's all a big conspiracy. Like everything in this administration is a conspiracy, is a cover-up.
Right.
We are not blind. We're not blind.
They're criminals doing criminal behavior. And I just, I keep going back to
hold on. Let me cut you off. What can you expect when you have a literal felon in the White House?
Criminal behavior.
Listen, we are not lying when we say this. Like, this is on the books. You are a convicted felon and you are running the White House.
Right. Yeah. And you also had all of those agents pour over all of those papers and redact his name. He's not a victim.
No.
There were more FBI agents deployed to read through the Epstein documents than they are on DC right now.
Right.
Let that sink in.
It was like 1,000 of them to go in and identify his name so they could redact his name. He wasn't a victim. He was a participant in these activities. His name does not deserve to be removed. But that was their whole thing.
Hot tea, cold tea, don't matter. It's all tea.
It's all tea. Absolutely.
All tea. Gwendolyn, go ahead. I'm sorry, I had cut you off earlier. You want to say something?
No, we are in this weird place in the world where there are people that I worked with in my former life who are very for this other party, and they are silent. Like as my mama say, you can hear a rat piss on cotton, right? They are silent, and I'm just like, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking that? All the lies you have been told, like, how did you not see through that? Like, how do you not see through these lies? This guy, he don't like the job numbers, so I'm going to fire this guy and bring somebody else in who says, no, there's plenty of jobs. People are seeing like extra money in their accounts. There's plenty of jobs.
Bullshit.
Like, are you serious? Like, he's a con artist. I didn't grow up in New York until like my teen years, but even I knew he was a con artist then. Like, how y'all not say that?
He's always been a con artist. And my thing is that when we talk about numbers, right? So if we go back to Monday, in May of this year, he posted where DC's crime rates had gone down.
Yes. Because it was convenient for him to say that.
He said it himself. And that's what one of the fact checks came in too, was when they showed that when he was talking, that they went down. And now you who fired someone for putting out numbers that were real. You want to accuse DC of saying, oh, somebody messed with the data. No, you're the one who everything is a deflection.
Yes,
absolutely.
I always say, listen to what he says, listen to what they say, and it's everything that they are doing, but they're deflecting on other people.
Yes. The other, I want to kind of go back on something that Glenn was talking about as far as like these people. It warms my heart to actually see a lot of these people coming on TV and complaining about, how, they regret their vote and what he's doing to them. Let me tell you something. You fucked around. Now you're about to find out. And they find out hard. There's a couple that came up, Hispanic couple. They was like, saying this, doing the whole, we vote for Trump, this and that. And now they were targeted. They were pulled over and stopped. And they're like, well, we voted for Trump. They don't care. No one cares that you voted for him. You don't fit our profile of what an American looks like. So, we need to question you. Why are you here? You know what I mean? And the fact that they're crying about, let me tell you something. I have no sympathy for none of y'all.
Oh.
I say, you know what I say? Bless your heart.
Yeah.
The gentleman that has the Trump Burger restaurants.
Yeah.
He's not being deported.
Right.
Bye.
Right.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
See you later.
You supported Trump. He's saying, well, I support Trump. They don't care. You did what they wanted you to do to vote for him. And now that he's gotten what he wants, he could give two shits about your ass.
But he said
Bye-bye.
He said it in one of those rallies. He said, I don't care about you. I just want your vote.
Absolutely.
I just need you to vote this one last time. He said that. He said
absolutely.
that out loud. There's a video of him saying that. He just wanted your vote. He didn't care about anything else. And once you vote, it doesn't matter where you vote.
There is video of him saying how this election was rigged and it benefited him. And it's like, why did no one pick this up and run with it? It's like he literally said this. This is not AI generated. He said this.
They don't. You know that you had that part of people are so filled with whatever their hatreds are, whatever their one issue is, that they were not thinking about what the consequences would be, right? So I was listening to this to the guy on TMZ or something talking to DL Hughley. So he asked DL Hughley about people who voted for this person and whether or not you can forgive these people or whatever. And DL said, there are people out here who did this not once, not twice, but 3 times. Even when you didn't change after 2020, January 6, 2021. And I don't know, there were people at my house the other day for my husband's birthday. And they asked about a particular friend I had or acquaintance. It's like, oh, we don't see her. And, she's not here. I was surprised she wasn't here. I said, don't be, and she won't be. Because that's where I am. That's not where I am. I can't sit in that. I can't sit in people who want to do something that's totally destructive or say something destructive that impacts all of our lives. And then I have to forgive. I'm not, Jay said she was cracking up. I'm not that one. And I was real honest because we have to be honest. You have to call people out. Yes. You're not going to sit at my table. And this same friend saw my son at a wedding and a few weeks ago and was like, yeah, the last time I talked to your mom, we were talking about some politics and I really haven't heard from him. I don't know why. He said in his head, he says, you know exactly why. Engage him in some of that rhetoric. And he said to her that he was not engaged in those conversations. He think those people are awful, and he's sorry that she felt that way. And her daughter came up to him and said, "I'm so embarrassed. She keeps saying this stuff." But we have the right not to have people in our spaces that have done those things that are detrimental to them as well as to us. She has a citizenship, dual citizenship, one in St. Kitts. He could kick you out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So be careful, and then don't come back to me or wonder where I am. I'm where I always been with my beliefs. And there is a thing that I like, a saying that I think about a lot now. It's not as so important that you have like-minded people. You have to have like-valued people in your life.
Yeah, it's values.
With the same values. Yeah. Values are more important. Your value, we have to value the same thing. You have to value me as much as I value you and your grandkids. And when you want to push something else, that's devaluing me and everyone else around you. And I was like, I can't, nope, won't, and will not.
Absolutely.
I'm right there with you. Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I want to end our conversation, our group conversation, on a more a higher note. So let me add this here. Did it add it? Yeah. What have you been doing this summer? So let's just kind of go around the room and see what everyone's been up to, because summer's getting ready to come to a close. We got about the unofficial end of summer. Let's start with you, Gwendolyn. What have you been up to this summer?
Well, let's see. I need to make it condensed because you know how Virgos do, right? So one, we have been doing our self-portrait session because I'm a cute bitch, right? A girl looks good, you know what I'm saying? So we have to do a session today, and then I have not found the gown for the 50th photo session. Okay. I really wanted Rex to take my picture. I really did. I kid you not. I really wanted Rex to do it, but we're not going up there right now, so I'm gonna have to catch him.
And you know what? You missed the opportunity because he was in Texas a couple of weeks ago.
What? Because I would have driven and found him. Yes, but it's still coming. It's still coming. But beyond getting ready for a 50th celebration, as I said, there's a grandson coming who will be a Virgo baby. The daughter just got married, so we're excited about that. We sent her champagne, although she can't drink it, but as soon as she pops it out, we would be popping more bottles. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that grandmother slash mother. We've been working and then writing, doing a lot of writing. My book is not done yet, but I am still working on it. And just, enjoying life. Like, you go through all these different chapters and things, and something like this, like, I didn't think we'd be here. I really didn't. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Consider me like hopeless, romantic, and person who believes in all good people and whatnot. I just didn't see myself at the age of 50 having to fight for my right to fucking vote again. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't see that I have to try to find a way to create a better world for my grandbabies. I did not expect to see this. That was not on my bingo card. So, I've been sitting in prayer, meditating, asking the good Lord to give me all the patience, But in the meantime, I'm like, in moments like this, besides walking in faith, I am putting my time with my family, my friends, my loved ones, and me. This whole thing can burn down. Great, burn.
Yes.
But hey, I'm going to enjoy the time that I'm here. I'm here for a reason. I'm going to walk in that purpose.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Elise, what about you?
So this summer, you know me, I've been going to art events, celebrating family. My husband just turned 80 on the 3rd.
Hey, big birthday.
Surprised him by having a dinner. I told him dinner was going to be at the house, and he's one of those, if you don't know, Leos can be kind of nosy. So he was asking every day, what are you doing? What kind of food do we eat? And I said, I'm having to cater. Who's catering? Everything. So I invited people that he used to work with and hadn't seen for a while, and family and friends over. And Jazzy came down from Baltimore area to be with us that day.
Nice.
And so he was really, really surprised. Yeah, he was very surprised at everyone that came in and celebrated him. I thought it was just so important to do that. And then my granddaughter turned 17 on Friday. So we went out to celebrate her turning 17. So it's been a lot of family celebrations, but definitely the art. And then feeling the need now for my past history of what is one of a lot of activism, particularly before I started working. So, and now that activist side of me is coming back, but it's coming back, as I said, not in the form of where do I meet the people, but how do I tell the truth and how do I do what I do to participate? How do I show those things? And then thinking of ways also to say to people, okay, so we're at this point of with all of these frustrations, but we still have things to be grateful for. We still have things to be thankful for. And I'm not at the stage of being a pessimist and saying, oh, we're never, he's never leaving. He's going to leave. He's going to leave kicking and screaming. We have to be prepared and knowing how
there's another way for him to leave too. So
there is another way. And he may go that way, kicking and screaming as well as those ankles swell. But I was just trying to just enjoy life. My husband has talked about for over a year, he wanted to go to Vancouver. And so we're actually going to leave on Friday he wanted to go and take this trip. So we're going to leave Friday morning and head to Vancouver so he can see it. And I was like, that's wonderful. And along the way, throughout the year, I did all of these little things. Like I would buy things and give him all of these things all the way up to his 80th birthday, even if it was a donut or apple fritter, or any little, even if it was little things that he liked, I would just do those things. And so for his birthday, he knows I like flowers, and he's one you just have to remind him. But I also know that he buys sometimes he buys them. He buys these very colorful carnations. The ones where they die, so moms, they're moms.
Okay.
So when I went to the store, that's what I had on the table for his birthday. were those flowers, because that's the ones that he likes with all the colors. So I got those.
Okay.
And I'm actually working with an artist to do a crochet sweater. So
Ooh.
we should be assembling it in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. So you seem like you've had a very eventful summer and year so far. And we're only 8 months in.
I'm trying to relax, trying to keep myself, control my art addiction and just be an admirer and not just purchase and not just a consumer.
It's okay. It's okay. We all have our vices, so we lean into it a little bit.
So Chris is that my name is Alieze and I am an art addict.
Look, you can be addicted to a lot worse things, so you know what? We'll take
Absolutely.
that. We'll take that. We'll take that. A little bit about me this summer. It's been a very eventful past few months. One, new space. Ron and I moved. That was a huge deal. We started the preparations of the move from last November. And then we really in earnest started the process in January, and we're able to move to this beautiful new space, this beautiful new community. We love it here. You guys have probably seen a lot more of me posting in my Instagram stories of us just enjoying the place. I take my lunch breaks, I go down to the pool, and I actually take meetings while I'm actually in the pool. So I'm enjoying that. There have been some good things, then also there's just been lifing. My parents are getting older, and as that happens, we end up taking care of our parents. My mom is 72. You would not know she is 72. And everyone always questions her about that's not your real age. But yes, she's 72. My dad is 82. And my dad has a lot of health challenges, and it's been quite a struggle this the past, I would say, 2 months. I've been going back and forth to New York to help out with that. And then my mom had surgery. So I spent a week up there just kind of helping her because, my mom is the one that was taking care of my dad. She couldn't do that. Thank God we have other family members that can help with that. So I would take care of her and my father when she couldn't do it. So between that and just everything and some other things that are coming down the pipe, which I'll talk about after we do our regular announcements before we jump off. Because I'm trying to maintain the time to get off here at 12 p.m. promptly today. Trying to run a tight ship here. But it's been a good summer. We've had lots of friends and family over, spent some time with us here, and we're continuing to do that. And just spending quality time with family and spending a lot of time with my husband, just doing things. Because life can just get in the way and work can just be a priority. And I have chosen for that not to be a priority in my life. I want to make sure that, what's important to me is my family and friends and my loved ones. And I'm going to prioritize it because I never want there to come a day where maybe I become sick and I can't spend the time with family. I want to make sure that I'm spending time with family and friends. And also doing this stuff here that I love with you guys and, prioritizing you all, yes, you, Gwendolyn, and you, Alieze, and Ron, spending the time doing this show and everyone in the community, it's really important. So before we get off of here, of course, we know we have to do announcements. So let me just pull up some of the announcements. Yes,
Chris, can I say something real quick? I think that what I'll say to everyone, the most important thing that we can do right now is to make sure that we are in community with each other, that we tighten that up, that we're supporting each other, that we maintain connections and create new connections with like-valued people, because that's going to be our salvation is in community. One of my former students' son asked to interview me yesterday for his school project. And he asked me at the end, what did I think we need to do? I said, the most important thing that we need to do now is to be together in community.
Yes.
Because that's where our strength has always been. That's how we have persevered and thrived throughout the years. And the way they have kind of gotten us off focus is by putting that wedge in our community and trying to get us to be so individualistic that we don't realize that we thrive and survive as a community. And remember that divided we fall, but together we are undefeatable. And we've proven that time and time again. So we have to be in community. We have to stay connected with like-valued people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, let's pull up the first ad. So, oh, hold on. Let me get this banner off real quick. There's so much we have to do behind the scenes to get this ready. So, World Photography Day in Brooklyn is coming up this Saturday, August 16th, 2025. So please go. You can take a screenshot of the QR code and be directed to the link to RSVP, as Ron has mentioned over the last month or so about this. Come out, be a part of it. Jamel Shabazz is going to be photographing everyone that shows up. So to do that big group photo, and I believe this will probably end up in his next book, because I believe the last photo they did ended up in the his most recent book. So it's World Photography Day in Brooklyn this Saturday, August 16th. So make sure you go out and join and support. Also, Ron always wants you to join his email list, because as he says, one, this might not be here forever. And in order for him to communicate with you and everyone, you need to join the email list. And I am in full support of that. So make sure that you keep in touch. You're going to get new service updates, industry news, monthly trends, and be in the know. Go to ronlewisphotos.com and sign up below. Okay. Also, Ron is an event photographer, and this is how he makes his money, event photography, and he will travel for it. So definitely reach out to him. You can go to his website and reach out to him that way and help support Ron Lewis and his event photography. And of course, we have to thank our Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. Let me tell you something. This whole thing does not happen without the support of the Patreon community. It takes money to actually do all of this. Yeah. So please go and support the Patreon community. Now, with that being said, I just want to give a special thank you to everyone out there that watches this program, because Ron has allowed me to come on here every Thursday and Friday, and then also substitute from every once in a while, and I jump on, on Wednesdays occasionally. But, I have been on YouTube for a couple of years, and I'm always on other people's platforms. I'm a part of the Indie Soup media network. I had a couple shows. I still have a couple shows on there, and I'm going to be gearing up for the next season of Safe Space as well. Of course, you guys know me from the conference call, and our show, we do the recap show. We're actually in our another season of the recap show, recapping Project Runway. That goes out every Monday at 8 a.m. So continue to support us on that. But starting this Friday, I'm going to be launching my channel, finally, as you can see, constantly changing for me on YouTube. So in addition to me being on Indie Soup Media and also on the conference call channel, I will have my own channel. Now, this channel will not relieve me of my duties on these other channels. And in all honesty, you're going to see even more of me. You'll see stuff from Indie Soup Media, from the conference call on my channel, but then also you'll see my original content on there as well. So you'll get some long form, some short form videos. You'll see some just personal stuff. And, like one of the things I'm going to be working on now is sharing our European vacation. That'll probably come out a little bit later. But the first two videos that are going to launch this Friday at noon are going to be my welcome video to, welcome everyone to the channel. And then also a call to action I'm looking for guests for Safe Space. That's going to be, season 3 is going to be premiering on my channel and on Indie Soup Media in October. So with that being said, here is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@constantly changing for me. The page is actually live right now. And to be honest with you, I've had the page for about 5 years. And I've constantly just gone back and forth, do I do this? Do I put something out there? And, it was always easier to put content on other people's platforms, but why not have mine? If these people decide to go away, where's my content? Yes, I still have the videos. I can put them up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a repository for all of my stuff. And, I encourage everyone to go and to sign up and to follow, subscribe, hit the notification button. do all the things so that you can be a part of what I'm going to be doing here on YouTube. In addition, follow us over at the official conference call so you can see the recap show. If you've never seen the show before, just go and watch one. I am positive you're going to subscribe and you're going to have a good time. This show is not scripted. We all watch the show independently of one another, or Ron and I watch it together, but we don't really talk about it. So when we record the show, every Sunday at 2, and it comes out at 8 a.m. on Monday. What you're getting is our genuine reactions to one another. We don't discuss it between us, and we have a group chat, but we don't discuss it. And we just have a good time. And it's just real, it's raw, and we don't hold back. And, because we're doing Project Runway, it's we try to have a little more fashion involved, and we have a good time. So join us over on the official conference call. New shows air every Monday. And I believe we're going to actually do a live for the season finale of it. We'll do it live instead of doing a pre-recorded show. So that'll be fun. So that's all I got. Go and join Constantly Changing for me. Give me a follow. I think I got like 4 subscribers right now. Hopefully I'll have some more before. But
you have more by the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. And like I said, the channel is going to go live this Friday at noon. I'll put out the first video at noon and then probably put out the second video maybe about an hour later. But there's videos actually up there. They're just in a private mode right now. They're not live. So we'll do all that. And like I said, over the next weeks and months, I'll be putting out more videos. I've got a ton of videos just sitting there. I'm going to start putting them together and putting them out. Like, what's the purpose of me even recording them? And then when I start traveling again for work, I think I'll start creating videos for that so you can kind of see behind the scenes of, me traveling in the airports early in the morning, working with the clients, and then showing you what it really is. And I think that a lot of people have misconceptions also. Oh, you get to travel and this and that. Like, yeah, it's not always fun.
It's work.
It's tiring and it's work. Yeah, I'm on a cruise ship for 3-4 days. No, I'm literally just working. And when I'm not working, I'm sleeping. So that's what it is. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us this week. And before we go, let's just see what some comments, because Ron will be pissed if I don't talk about the comments. Let's see. Bryson, thank you. Project Runway comes on Thursdays on Freeform, and the next day airs on Hulu and Disney Plus. That is correct. And that's when we typically watch it on a Friday, and then we record the show on Sunday because it's more convenient for us. Congratulations all. Thank you. Let's see. Dr. Tati, hey, she's in the room. Let's just see any other comments. Thank you, Hannah, for the congratulations. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Mimi. Thank you, Food Plane. Thank you to everyone. Thank you very much. And you're just going to get more of me. If you're not sick of me, you're sick of me. All right. Well, that any last comments ladies, before we jump off?
Nah, just go out and look. Just go out there and and take care of yourself and love yourself. Love people. Love your people.
I hear that.
And look and know that at the end of the day, everything's gonna be all right because we're gonna survive.
Always.
Absolutely. All right. Well, my sign off is take care of yourself and maintain a safe space.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.